Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I originally wrote this as a 2024 film, but this is actually a 2023 film. I'm talking about Godzilla minus one. Let's go back. We gonna do it again. We gonna do it again. Let's go. Godzilla minus one is, like I said, it came out in December of 2023, and I definitely tried at the time to see this in theaters. I mean, maybe you can argue I didn't try hard enough, but I definitely tried to. It was very limited in the theaters around me, and then it felt like it came and went. It was gone after a matter of like 2 weeks, and after that, I figured, okay, well, hopefully it's available on digital or on demand soon. And it took months, which is why I'm just now finally getting around to Godzilla minus one. I watched it all 2 hours and like 5 minutes. And I gotta say right off the bat, the various reviews praising this movie, saying it was one of the best films in a long time, I concur. This is definitely a really great film. I mean, it was probably possibly even better than what I initially expected. Because sometimes I hear that a movie's great, and I go, alright, well, sure, critics are saying so, and even some reviewers that I watch on YouTube and whatnot, podcasters, they might say it's great, and that's all well and good. But maybe sometimes it's depending on the mood that I'm in. It's depending on, am I being too harsh? Am I in a good mood that particular day? Who knows, right? Everybody just has different opinions. And so I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. I didn't know if I was going to feel maybe similar to how I felt about, what was it, the 2014 film? And so I watched this, and I couldn't believe how well a lot of the things that were done here. First things first, I should mention the budget of this film is between 10 and 12 million dollars. Holy fuck! How is that possible? If you watch this movie, even if you watch the trailer, I'm sure the trailer shows some quick shots or some of the moments that have Godzilla in the film. And I'm not saying Godzilla's in this movie a whole lot. I guess that's why I compared it to the 2014 film, just as far as how much Godzilla is used. But the difference between this and that is that when Godzilla does show up, when Godzilla is present and on screen, he does shit, right? And he does things that have consequences. He does things that impact the film and the story and the characters specifically. It's not just like, hey guys, Godzilla's here and then I'm out. Or right before he's about to do something cool, the door closes. No, you see Godzilla do some fucked up shit before he eventually goes away. And so that's what I think was handled perfectly with Godzilla. But the fact that this cost no more than 12 million and Godzilla itself, like the actual CGI and the effects that go into this, there was one portion where I swear it had to be practical because of how good it looked and how real it looked. The very first time you see Godzilla at the beginning, it's at nighttime and it's dark, and I thought, this looks great. But how much of it is because it is dark, and so maybe they're gonna hide stuff. And then later on in the movie, Godzilla's very much out there in the daytime, bright and early. Like, there's no hiding anything if this did look terrible. And so, no excuses from Hollywood productions or big budgeted blockbuster type films. When you hear that movies cost 150 to 200, 250, and some of the CGI, it's like, even if it looks good, some portions don't look great. Some portions do look super fake. There's no excuses when a movie like this is able to look as good and stand toe to toe with all of those bigger budgeted films. It's wild. It blew my mind. I can't stress enough how impressive the effects are for this movie. And it's not just about how Godzilla looks. I'm talking about the actiony type scenes as well, where there's explosions or that there's stuff in the water. Like the way how they pull off certain sequences, it all blows my mind. The acting too, all the way around, is very, very good. The story follows a kamikaze pilot, Koichi Shikashima. I probably butchered that. I apologize. But this is a pilot who he had a task, a specific task, with his group. And they're nearing the end of World War II. And so things are about to happen. And then when Godzilla shows up, this pilot is supposed to shoot, is supposed to maybe potentially hurt this creature, but he freezes up. Who could blame him? And in doing so, causes his entire team to get wiped out. And so, for the rest of the movie, he is feeling so much guilt. He is feeling so much, God damn, I fucked up. And if only I had acted, maybe I would have been able to save them. I'm going to say probably not. I'm going to say that there was nothing you could have done that would have stopped Godzilla right then and there, right? But of course, he has to beat himself up over it because he did freeze up. And in doing so, when he goes back home and he sees his entire village was wiped out from the bomb that goes off, and so many people have died, his family have died, it's heartbreaking because he's going to blame that on himself as well. And he quickly comes into contact with a woman named Noriko, and she has a baby named Akiko. And at first, he's kind of like, oh, I don't really want to deal with this. I'm already feeling low about myself. I don't want to have to be responsible for people. But it's because of these two that he's able to kind of live, to kind of, have a sense of being a human being. And that whole aspect of the story, him going through like PTSD trauma of not just the war, but from Godzilla specifically. Godzilla kind of represents what a soldier dealing with PTSD is going through. It's just this movie focuses on Godzilla being the actual point of memory for him. But all of that was very fascinating, and just how much of this was blocking him from truly connecting to these other two people that is essentially probably saving his life. I appreciated all of that. I appreciated the human aspect of not just the war and what that did to him, but what Godzilla does to the people of the town, to the people in this area, that like when Godzilla shows up and does some cool shit, you almost forget in other movies how much this is all affecting the little people down there. And this movie is focusing on those people and how much this is fucking them all up. And there are so many scenes where it broke my heart to see how many times, whether it's bad luck or whether it's just like, God damn, what else does he and everyone else need to do in order to get past all of this? And so I can't commend this movie enough. The writing blew me away. The acting blew me away. I know some people might have an issue with having to read dialogue and subtitles because it's in the Japanese language. And I guess I should mention that, because if people are only familiar with Godzilla movies made in the US, then you're probably not even familiar with the fact that Godzilla is a Japanese character, a Japanese created character, and they made a whole bunch of movies back in the day. And to see, especially Toho Studios, be able to take this character back and retell a story, retell a Godzilla movie in their own language, in their own image, that too is what I appreciated, because you almost say to yourself, well, this is what Godzilla movies should be like. Like, if we could make Godzilla movies that are this good, even a little bit, it would go a long way as far as being great movies that tell great stories, that have great likable characters, but also saving your budget to not blow these studios and the box office out of the water. This film does a lot to hopefully push the industry forward. Hopefully they take the right sort of lessons from this film and just how much everybody universally is praising it. It's absolutely deserving. Of course, I'm going to give this movie a full price. So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen Godzilla Minus One. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you love it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!